rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. That's right, it's American. It's not American, it's American Perspective. Well, you know, my Whiskey Warrior P1's over on the Rumble chat decided to get in there and have a discussion with regards to math. And as smart as I may purport myself to be, I do not know whatever the rule of nines is, and so I'm going to get myself educated by Ms. T about the rule of nines. Anyway, we were talking, in particular, they were talking about Common Core math, and, well, don't get me started on that. Mrs. Whiskey could give you a plethora of stories with regards to me and Common Core math. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, yeah. You know, I've got to be honest with you. The more that the older I get, the more I find out how stupid people actually are. Like Ms. T was saying, that many people, you know, don't know the rule of nines, okay? And, yeah, they don't know the rule of nines and whatever it is. I'll be honest with you, I never learned that. But then again, multiplication was not something that I necessarily relished while I was in school. But anyway, my math, I can do it. I can do it, but it's not something that I necessarily say that I absolutely enjoy. Although it's interesting how much math I actually ended up doing because of the fact that I am an RF engineer by trade. So there's a little trick in terms of calculating power, output power on radio frequency transmitters that is called the rule of tens and threes, and I know that one pretty well. Anyway. Yeah, RF math is kind of fun, but that's I digress. You see, we haven't even gotten the show started, and we're already off the rails. That's right, we're off the track. We're going down a rabbit hole. All right. Well, speaking of smarts, I've got some stuff about Jasmine Crockett, who ain't the smartest, sharpest knife in the drawer. But anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Hi, Barb from Ohio, over on the farm there. She's all alone in Facebook land. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight, we have for the Pledge of Allegiance, we have none other than definitely not Karen. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat. Remove your hat and follow along with Definitely Not Karen as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, I thank you, Definitely Not Karen, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file that you create by recording yourself, and send it off to me. You can send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. I'm looking for number 21. I have 20 right now, and I need 21. So if you haven't done it yet, and unfortunately, I think Sleazy Auto and Jarhead 13 both have not submitted anything. So if you, I would love to have the two of them submit a version That would be fantastical, if that's even a word. But anyway, I do know that if you use your phone to do it, use the share option. Use the share option in order to send it off to me, and of course send it to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is none other than the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online. They're already starting over there on Rumble. The little round cornered book does not require a knowledge of mathematics to read and understand it. Well, that is true. They don't. It does take English comprehension, though, which many of our Senate and congressman people, especially on the Democrat side of the aisle, seem to not understand. Anyway, it is a book that has sexy rounded corners. So let me go ahead and talk about this. It's an 1/8 inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue used as a binding, folks. This is stitched all the way through the pages and the leather. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if something does go wrong with this thing, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved. It is Billy tasted, Billy approved. And my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to achieve your civics badge in Scouts. May also help you to achieve that civics exam, as well as the fact that if you're going for your naturalization test, too, just so you know. And as Nana puts in there, it causes liberals to achieve great gastrointestinal issues. Yeah. So go and get your whole family them. You can stick it in the stockings. They're great stocking stuffers, and I would highly recommend you get them before the 15th. Order them before the 15th so that you can get them for Christmas. But take them and stick them in the stockings. You'll have a blast watching your conservative, American-loving, patriot friends and family pick them out and go, oh, my gosh, this is just so fantastic. And then you can go and take a look at all your leftist lunatic family who will sit there and, shrivel and die away like the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. Anyway, go to constitution.americanperspective.online and get yours today. Also, don't forget to check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offerings, and I thank them for allowing me to be an affiliate. We'll have to see what happens with that in the future, because they got purchased, or they got merged with another company, and granted, they're supposed to be saying that they're keeping it all the same, but we'll kind of have to see what happens with that. All right. Things that are not the same. Well, I mean, sort of. Anyway, Tom Holman has confirmed now that the Department of Homeland Security is investigating Ilhan Omar and whether or not she came to the U.S. illegally by marrying her brother. Oh, you know those rumors that were running around all about this? I mean, Donald Trump talked about it a little bit while he was in Pennsylvania recently at a rally. And let's just say that now that's garnered the attention of his administration. Holman also mentioned that the DHS is conducting an extensive review of visa fraud within Minnesota's Somali community, of which Ilhan Omar is a part of. And all of that comes after the department claimed that 50% of the visas in Minnesota are actually fraudulent. Yeah. And so, yep, that's going to happen. So I don't know. Apparently, President Trump and his allies have claimed that Omar's first husband, Ahmed Elmi, is actually her brother, who she married for immigration purposes in 2009. Now, the couple divorced in 2017, and by the way, there's no DNA evidence that has supported the claim that they are brother and sister. Interesting the way they phrase that, because they don't necessarily say whether or not there is actual DNA evidence of them, period. So anyway, Holman told Newsmax that he was investigating whether Omar committed immigration fraud and is thereby in the country illegally. She first came to the United States with her family in the 1990s, according to her congressional biography. So we'll see what happens. But Holman said Monday, we're pulling the records, we're pulling the files, we're looking at it. I'm running that down this week. So that's a positive. Oh, and speaking of the Somalis, yeah, let me go ahead and bring this up. Speaking of the Somalis, apparently there is now a TSA whistleblower that has confirmed that Somalis regularly flew out of the country with suitcases stuffed with millions in cash. So in an interview, a TSA agent, former TSA agent at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, detailed repeated encounters, not one, not two, but repeated encounters with Somali men carrying suitcases packed with cash. And in one case, she saw a bag filled with new passports. In an interview, Liz Jaska, Jaksa, Jaska, or Jaksa, I don't know. Anyway, told journalist Liz Collin that she witnessed these incidences regularly during her 5 years at the airport. So 2016 to 2021 is when this happened. Now, she was asked, tell us what you've actually seen as a TSA agent during the time you worked there. And she basically said, well, I've actually seen a lot of things, but the most shocking is exactly that I saw suitcases filled with millions of dollars in cash. And the couriers were always small. They meant traveling in pairs, and they got through the checkpoint. And I just really absolutely blew my mind. The first time you open a suitcase and you see millions of dollars of cash. Now, law enforcement apparently routinely documented the couriers. She said, and typically what would happen is a LEO, which is short for law enforcement officer, would come check their credentials. I don't know what kind of questions they asked them, but their IDs were always documented, and probably their plane tickets as well. So there is a trail of this out there, and I would believe, with all the cameras at the airport, that if they started there, they could probably find each and every individual that brought money through the checkpoint. So she said that the pattern was also consistent. She goes, so it certainly seemed like it happened every week. The suitcases would come in, and it was always the MO, or modus operandi, It was always two Somalian men traveling in pairs. Sometimes they both had suitcases. So the process was, as a TSA agent, we would pull the bag, because obviously the x-rays couldn't go through the bag. Then we'd bring them to a private screening room, and we would open the suitcase and make sure that all it was cash. Stacks and stacks of cash. And a law enforcement officer would come and maybe question them. And for sure, he'd take a picture of their identification. I'm assuming their plane ticket. She didn't know that for sure. But she goes, there's a trail out there. Yeah, there's a trail out there for this. Yeah. Yeah. So then Collins asked, $1 billion, as if this isn't troubling enough, Liz. It's not just money that you watched leave Minnesota St. Paul. Is that right? And the whistleblower said, yes, that is correct. Yeah. So there was another instance, she continued, again, a Somali man that had a carry-on luggage filled with brand new passports. And he was allowed to go through the checkpoint. So where he went with those passports is anyone's guess. Wow. This look into Minnesota is really kicking off. That's all I can say for all of that. All right. Well, let's get into tonight's headline topic, which, of course, happens to be our little miss running for senator, Jasmine Crockett. You know, supposedly she believes that because Ma'am Danny won in New York City, that's going to boost her to where she can win the Senate in red state Texas. That just goes to show you how stupid these people actually are. Anyway, Jasmine Crockett was apparently on some sort of a, I don't know. Oh, she was on on the Breakfast Club radio show and was attempting to downplay the link between Democrats' incendiary rhetoric, or rhetoric, however you want to pronounce it, and political violence. So she says, me disagreeing with you, me calling you wannabe Hitler, all those things are not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. And then she did the thing. She said, I literally have never said anything to invoke violence. I challenge somebody to go and find a clip, and this is the key, of a Democrat invoking violence. Well, you can't just throw that kind of a gauntlet down without somebody picking it up, because the GOP, the Grand Old Party, oh, they went ahead and served her up on a platter. Yes, that's right. On a platter. I gotta find it. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. All right. So they went and served her up on a platter. Take a look and a listen to this. Oh.
A clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Let's extinguish him for good.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
We're going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of them.
Now punch back, kick back, dunk over their heads, and win some fucking power.
Fight back, punch back, and make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching.
We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
We are not only gonna punch you back, but we are gonna knock you out.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we gonna punch back, but we about to beat you down.
And goddamn it, shut down the Senate! We are at war!
they go low, we kick them.
Even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was 21 Democrats. Now, there were 21 instances of Democrats essentially attacking Republicans and saying, that they should be beaten or whatever. Now, what's interesting on that is Jasmine Crockett herself showed up 3 separate times in that list. You heard from Maxine Waters, Beto O'Rourke. You heard from Gavin Newsome, Hair Gel himself. You heard from a couple of no-name Democrats. I had no idea what they are. There was Nancy Pelosi. So there you go. I counted 3 separate times of Jasmine Crockett being on there. So, yeah. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. You can check that out on X, by the way. You can grab that video with regards to it. And, anyway, the Democrats. You know what? I think I'm going to have to download that video. Come to think about it. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to download it and see what the heck happens. But anyway. Oh, here we go. What is this? Okay, that's fine. I'll save it right there. And that way I can pull it out later. When I need to. Oh, yes, Jasmine Crockett. Oh, boy. Well, she's not really well liked by even some of her peers. Apparently, well, I got to give credit. I'll be honest with you. I got to give credit to Benny Johnson. Okay. Now there's a clip here that I'm going to play. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Okay. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but, there is a clip here that Benny Johnson posted to X, and Benny Johnson, he basically says on the X post, with Jasmine Crockett announcing her Senate run, now feels like the perfect time to revisit our reporting exposing where she is really from. She's built her entire career around the, quote, ghetto girl from the hood. And he basically is saying, yeah, her upbringing was completely opposite. I see some similarities here. I see some similarities here between Jasmine Crockett and AOC, because AOC acts like she is, all this bad assery from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. And no, she grew up in upstate New York at a well-off, well-to-do school. Well, let's just take a few minutes and listen to Benny Johnson in his reporting about this. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
Yo, what's up, guys? We are in Dallas, Texas today in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. It is rough. It is tough. It is hood, and it is foul, just like Jasmine Crockett. That's the whole persona, right? Tough-talking, street-fighting girl from the ghetto. That's Jasmine Crockett's entire aura. The attitude.
Looks like in the shitter to me.
The volume.
Don't tell me to calm down. Because y'all talk noise, and then you're
out of control.
The voice.
The congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat.
I'm trying to get clarification.
But there's a little problem with Jasmine. It's all a lie. She's code switching. She's a fraud, and we can prove it today. This is where Jasmine says she's from, but this is where Jasmine's really from. Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Jasmine Crockett's hometown. But let me show you where Jasmine Crockett's really from.
Welcome to St. Louis, specifically the Republican suburbs of St. Louis, with the mansions, country clubs, and private schools. This is where Jasmine Crockett was raised. We're talking quiet suburbs, manicured lawns, college brochures in the mailbox, and neighbors who wave when they mow the lawn.
This is where Jasmine Crockett went to school. It's called the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. It's one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire country, also one of the most expensive. Check this out. This isn't just a good school. This is the #1 school in the entire state of Missouri. It costs $35,000 per year to attend high school here. And the reason why is because the average test scores here guarantee your placement in an elite college institution. It's one of the best preparatory schools in the world. The average SAT score here is 1350, and the average ACT score here is 30. This is an elite institution. Did your high school have its own private Wimbledon? How large was your high school's lacrosse field? This lacrosse field is expansive. Did your high school have its own aquatic center on site? Can Jasmine Crockett swim? She has no excuse because she went here. This is where Yasmin learned to play clarinet by the apple tree on this beautiful campus of the Mary Institute, St. Louis Country Day School.
All right, just so everybody, I'm going to break in right there just because of the fact that we don't have time to go through the whole, like, almost 15-minute video. But I'm going to tell you, when they were driving through the neighborhood and showing the houses, those houses were like 3,000, 4,000, maybe even 5,000 square foot homes. Those things are huge. And by the way, the fields that Benny was showing during that entire time, every single one of them was turf. Every single one was turf. Now, I'm just going to tell you, you're looking at an average of like $3 to $5 million, probably more depending upon, you know, the installation, but $3 to $5 million on average to put in just a single turf field. They had a football field, a soccer field, the lacrosse field, all of that was turf. Every single one was turf. And I would imagine they probably had like 2 or 3 turf fields because they had the regular football field, and I bet they had a practice football field as well. Yeah. I mean, we're talking millions upon millions of dollars. And like he pointed out, $35,000 over and above, you know, I mean, sending them off to public school. This is a private institution. $35,000 to go to high school at this school. This is a prestigious school. She is trying to play because of the district that she is representing. She is attempting to play as though she comes from the ghetto, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, well, all of this just demonstrates something, okay? And James Comer, who obviously is the oversight chairman, was interviewed by Benny Johnson. And, well, yeah, let's just say James Comer didn't really have a whole heck of a lot of good things to say about Yasmin Crockett. Oh, let's take a quick listen or quick look at this interview. This interview is about 3 minutes long, so I'll probably let the whole thing play. But anyway, this is on the Benny Show.
Jasmine Crockett leaving your committee. It's gotta be a real heartbreaker for you, Mr. Chairman.
You know, I appreciate what you said, Benny, about having to deal with all those strong women on my committee fighting each other, especially Crockett and Marjorie, and you mentioned Mace and Stansberry and Rashida Tlaib and all that. You know, when I became chairman a few years ago, I looked like you. I had a dark head of hair and wore a tight shirt and had, you know, I was in good shape. Now I'm all broke down and white-headed. That's 100% of the reason why. But, you know, Crockett's only claim to fame is that viral moment where she got into it with Marjorie and, you know, she's never accomplished anything. And when she first came on the Oversight Committee, she was a completely different personality than she is now. When Crockett first appeared, I was somewhat impressed. You know, she was polished and professional. And then over time, she morphed into whatever she is now, and it's a completely different personality.
Okay, so that's really interesting. I mean, this is not where we're going to go in this interview, but like, can you expound on that? So she showed up, and we've covered extensively. We did an entire documentary that's been seen by 50 million people about Jasmine Crockett and code switching, is what it's called. It is when you are obviously playing a part, a character. It could be anything from a country club to a hood rat, but you're code switching somebody who you are not. And Jasmine Crockett is not from the ghetto. Jasmine Crockett is from very elite country club neighborhoods and went to very elite schools, some of the best in the country. She spent millions of dollars on her education in these schools and comes from privilege, quite frankly. And so Jasmine Crockett's like persona, her rap persona or whatever you want to call it, it's fake. And it's provably fake. So you're saying you witnessed that up close?
We've all witnessed it, but me especially. She went from someone that I thought, you know, if the Democrat Party is looking, this was 4 years ago now. If the Democrat Party is looking for an African American female to be front and center, I thought Crockett had the potential to be it. But she is completely morphed. I'm going to predict, Benny, she's going to morph back during her campaign to look more like the first version of Jasmine Crockett we saw on the committee, not the last version or the current version. But yeah, you grew up in privilege, which I don't discriminate against that. I don't criticize that. But, you know, she's had more opportunities than I've had in life and better education and things like that, which is fine. That's great. I'm a Republican. I'm for everybody being successful. But yeah, the current version of Jasmine Crockett is not who I feel is the authentic version. Certainly not the original version that we met of Jasmine Crockett.
So, what does all this prove? Well, first of all, it proves that Jasmine Crockett, in her own words and actions, is literally a grifter. She's an actress. She is a total, in my opinion, totally inauthentic. There's also something else that I want to point out here. And I don't know if Jasmine Crockett, because let's face it, I can only take a little bit of her, realistically. But Jasmine Crockett has talked about white people and suppressive, you know, taking white people in as oppressors and those kinds of things. She's jumped onto the racial bandwagon, and yet she has more opportunity. She has had more opportunity in this country than clearly, I'd say probably 75%, 60%, 75% of the white people in this. Straight up. I didn't have the opportunity to go to a prestigious #1 in the state, $35,000 a year school. I didn't have that opportunity. How does that make it where I'm now the oppressor, though, because I happen to be a white male, Christian white male, you know, over 40? See, it's stuff like this that demonstrates that we actually, in America, we actually do not have a systemic race problem, folks. It's just like Morgan Freeman said to Don Lemon. Don Leming. He basically said, look at the two of us. Look at the two of us. We made it. We're two black men. We're on a national television show. You got a national television show. I'm a movie actor. We're making all kinds of money. Where do you see? Race doesn't play a part in any of this anymore. And he's right. You can sit there and pull out and pick out, several black figures throughout history. I mean, look at like Clarence Thomas. He's made an incredible name for himself. Now you have Jasmine Crockett. And what does she do? Rather than capitalize on this particular, on her particular upbringing and everything else, and capitalize on all of the things that she was able to do, she ends up having to code switch because she has to play a part. Because to her, that is how you do things. You play a part. You code switch. You act, if you're a black female, you're going to code switch because you've got to show that you ghetto. You ghetto. You do, and look at the district that she's representing. Benny showed the pictures. Folks, when is it going to come time when we, as the American people, the American public, stand up and basically flip off these idiots and go, you know what? We see through you. We see your reality and we don't accept it. And tell them to go fly a kite. So I'm just asking, Texas, if you get the opportunity, because she's running for Senate. She's running for Senate. Do me a favor. End her political career. Please. Please, by not voting for her. End her political career completely. She needs to go. Just like Kamala Harris needs to go. Tim Walz needs to go. Hillary Clinton, she needs to go. Barack Obama needs to go. They all need to get out of the limelight and out of politics forever, for good. Kick them to the curb. Kick them to the curb. All right. All right. We're going to talk about this wonderful place that we call Rumble, but Rumble has a separate place that you can go. And you've probably noticed that Rumble itself is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. I got to tell you, I'm fighting with these copyright claims on YouTube now. I used to fight them on Facebook, but now I'm fighting them on YouTube. And the reason why is because my music that I use on both my beginning and ending, I'm going to call it Asian. I don't know which country it is, but some Asian country, some Asian culture is, or some Asian company is claiming that I'm using their music. Well, joke's on them. I get all my music from Creative Commons. You can take a look in the description of my videos. Every single one of them has exactly the ones that I use and the Creative Commons licensing that is attached to that music. But anyway, I digress. So Rumble actually protects free speech, protects people like me from fallacy claims like what's happening over on YouTube right now. And now you can get even more fun with Rumble. You can go to Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content that you came for. That's it. It's fantastic. Plus, Premium members also unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators, like myself. Right now, Rumble is offering a $10 off an annual subscription. All you have to do is go off to rumble.com/premium. That's rumble.com/premium. Use the promo code STUDIO at checkout, and you will get $10 off your annual subscription. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO, to get $10 off an annual subscription to Rumble Premium. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. Rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO to get $10 off the annual subscription of Rumble Premium. All right. Well, yeah, we were talking about math. And apparently the Education Department has now reached a deal to dismantle Biden's student loan plan. So, now what happened here? So this is directly going against the SAVE plan, the SAVE plan, the last remnant of the Biden era effort to provide what is called large-scale student debt relief. I call it unconstitutional. But anyway, so the U.S. Department of Education has announced on December 9th that it has reached a proposed settlement with Missouri and the 6 other Republican-led states that sued to block the SAVE plan. The proposal still needs approval from the U.S. District Court of the Eastern District of Missouri's Eastern Division. The states argued that the Biden administration exceeded its authority when it created SAVE in 2023, which was a program that offered millions of borrowers lower monthly payments and an accelerated path to debt erasure. Now, you know, as a part of this program, especially if you're a Whiskey Warrior P1, that having the federal government involved in student loans is unconstitutional in the first place because there is nothing in Article 1, Section 8 that demonstrates a constitutionally mandated responsibility for the federal government to be in any part of education, because there is none. There's no mention of education at all in the Constitution, period. But if you're going to step in color outside of the constitutional boundaries and lines, why not? Right? Yeah. Anyway. So the SAVE program was introduced after the U.S. Supreme Court shut down President Joe Biden's original mass debt cancellation plan, which relied on the post 9/11 HEROES Act that allowed the education secretary to modify student loan related rules during war or national emergencies. SAVE instead drew its authority from a different statute, but 7 states argued that it was just another attempt at broad debt cancellation that the Supreme Court had already forbidden. And they were right. Anyway, the SAVE plan is not the product of well-reasoned decision, their complaint read. It is a pretext to evade the Supreme Court decision. So, in July of 2024, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the district court's order and blocked the SAVE plan in its entirety. As a result, borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan were placed into a interest-free forbearance where they have remained for the last year. So on February 18th of 2025, the 8th Circuit issued its long-awaited final decision, again siding with the suing states. It did it right. The ruling not only continued to block SAVE, but also prevented the Trump administration from processing forgiveness for borrowers enrolled in an older income-driven repayment plan. Now, as of July, the Education Department has identified more than 7.6 million borrowers in SAVE-related forbearance. So under this proposed settlement, the Education Department would stop enrolling any new borrowers into SAVE, reject all of the pending SAVE applications, and move all current SAVE borrowers into legally authorized repayment plans. Now, if these terms are approved by the court, roughly 7 million borrowers will have a limited window to select different repayment plans and resume payments. Folks, you took out a loan. You pay the effing thing back. That's how our country works, folks. This idea that all of a sudden the federal government should just, take their magic wand like Harry Potter or something and make something disappear is a bunch of crap. Because the money that is being borrowed by these students is basically coming from or being guaranteed by the federal government taxes, meaning you and me as taxpayers. Okay? So all of this, all this does is just shift the responsibility. When you go and sit there and say, oh, yes, I absolve you of your loan, all that does is shift the responsibility from the borrower back to the creditor, which is the American taxpayer. So no, I don't agree with any of this. And again, I personally don't think that the federal government, because again, I'm a strict constitutionalist, so the federal government shouldn't even be involved in any of this crap. But that being said, that if the court accepts this, all you people who thought that Joe Biden was going to be able to get this, oh, yes, he's going to give me, kind of like Obama, he's going to pay for my mortgage. He's going to pay for all of my, oh, yeah, everything. I'm going to get everything for free. Yeah, all of that's gone, folks. Yeah, and I hope so. Undersecretary of Education Nicholas Kent said in a statement, just like I did, the law is clear. If you take out a loan, you must pay it back. How hard is it to really understand this? I mean, this is like, this is basics. This is basic stuff. I really don't understand what this whole point in all of this. So, shout out to the states, especially the state of Missouri and the other states that are fighting against this egregious federal overreach. Kent says in his statement, American taxpayers can now rest assured that they will no longer be forced to serve as collateral for illegal and irresponsible student loan policies. These states that are involved are Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, North Dakota, Ohio, and Oklahoma. So, yeah. And by the way, Missouri also played a crucial part in the original Supreme Court case that struck down Biden's original debt cancellation plan. Yeah. Anyway, so that finally, it looks like if they accept this, we can put a nail in that coffin and get rid of that Joe Biden era debacle. Well, we still have remnants, and sadly, this is happening at the University of Oklahoma. See, what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that all of our major higher education institutions, I mean beyond just high school, all of our universities have been impermeated by the stench of leftist ideologies. And because they have been permeated by this stench of leftist ideologies, even places such as the University of Oklahoma are not immune to what's going on. Well, this report that just came out, the University of Oklahoma is facing renewed scrutiny over academic fairness after multiple instructors were removed from classrooms in connection with a dispute involving a Christian student who received a 0 on an essay and a later allegation of viewpoint discrimination tied to a campus protest. So last week, the university confirmed that a teaching assistant, William Mel Kurth, who uses she/they pronouns, had been removed from the classroom following the grading of an assignment submitted by a student, Samantha Fulnecki. Now, Samantha received a 0 after responding to an essay prompt by citing her Christian beliefs and referencing the Bible. The situation also expanded after an assistant teaching professor was also accused of showing preferential treatment to students who supported Kurth's reinstatement. The university acknowledged that a professor, whom it did not name, offered excused absences to students who wished to participate in a protest supporting Kurth's return to the classroom. And at the same time, by the way, Turning Point USA chapter president Khalib Mangana sought an excused absence to attend a counter-protest. And according to Turning Point's social media posts, the professor who was identified as Kelly Alvarez, she was his English Composition 2 instructor, and she denied Magana's request unless he could organize a full documented group of counter-protesters. Yeah. So, even if you go to what is considered to be a red state school, they are like, they're ingrained. They're impermeated throughout the entire education system. They just are. They just are. And, yeah, these people, it's just one of those things that you just got to ask yourself, what the is going on with these idiots? You just got to ask yourself that question. Speaking of that question, you really, really have to ask what's going on with these idiots with this next story. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, before all this ingrained political, social justice crap that's gone into professional sports, I was a fan. I still am a fan. I still appreciate a game, or a match, I should say, of soccer. See, I like soccer. I enjoy it. I enjoy the beauty of it. I enjoy the one-on-one battles. I know it's not like high scoring and everybody sits there and says, oh, you're watching 90 plus minutes and nothing happens. Well, actually, there's a lot that happens on the field if you know and understand what you're dealing with. In a way, it's sort of like hockey. I mean, if you understand all the rules of hockey and the beauty of the game, you can really get into it. Otherwise, you just go for the fights on the ice. I mean, that's it. But I digress. So the World Cup is here in the Americas. You have Canada hosting part of it, America hosting part of it, and, of course, Mexico hosting part of it. Well, our wonderful city to our south, Seattle, is a big soccer town. And we're hosting one of the games. The game is scheduled to be between Egypt and Iran. Egypt and Iran. Hang on to those two nation states for a second. And let me explain to you what the schedule demonstrates for the Egypt-Iran World Cup soccer match. That is going to be, according to the World Cup, the LGBTQI plus pride match in Seattle. Now again, Egypt versus Iran for the pride match in America. These people are fucking idiots. I'm sorry. That's just, earmuffs for the kids. But oh my God, how stupid can you effing be? Oh my God, how dumb. Yes, we're going to have 2 majority Muslim countries, and we're going to bring them here to America, and we're going to force them to play in a stadium on Pride Match night. Oh my gosh. How? I mean, I could understand if it was like, the U.S. versus Canada. Okay, that at least have 2 Western countries in it, and that would at least somewhat have an understanding of what's going on. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that. Egypt and Iran, of all places. What the hell? Iran, of all places. Oh, yeah, you're going to come here and you guys are going to play the Pride match in Seattle. I mean, that would almost be the worst place that I could think of it would be doing the Pride match in, say, San Francisco. I mean, that would be a little too on the nose, if you understand what I mean. But holy crap. Well, furious, both of them are protesting against this, and I agree. They basically said, how dare you? This is Muslim-majority countries, 2 Middle East nations where homosexuality is actually illegal. They vented their fury on Tuesday that the FIFA had scheduled a 2026 World Cup soccer match that overlaps LGBTQIA plus divided by sign ampersand pride events. Oh my gosh. How did these dumbasses do this? I seriously, this is like, this just confirms what I've already known, that people like this, they don't have 2 brain cells to like rub together. It just doesn't. Oh my gosh. This is so freaking ridiculous. Wow. They're furiously protesting because that cause affronts their Islamic sensibilities along with cultural and social values that they hold. Yeah. Egypt's Soccer Federation issued a statement late Tuesday saying it sent a letter to FIFA categorically rejecting any activities related to supporting homosexuality during the match. Seattle's Pride Fest has been organized in the city since 2007 by a nonprofit, which designated the June 26th game for celebration before FIFA made the World Cup draw on Friday. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is just too much. I'm sorry, it's just too much. Oh, and I got to show you. Here's some of the photos in the article. Here's some of the photos. Oh my God. Yeah, there we go. Everything these people. Oh my gosh. And by the way, here's an X post that the Ayatollah regime in Iran just executed 2 gay men for the crime of sodomy. I mean, and there's photos of the 2 men. Talk about blindness. Talk about blindness and idiocy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So now, yeah, and by the way, FIFA chose on Saturday to allocate the Egyptian-Iran game to Seattle instead of Vancouver, where the team's group's rivals, Belgium and New Zealand, will play at the same time. Yeah. So, Now, the mayor-elect Kate Wilson, the socialist idiot, she wrote on social media that with matches on Juneteenth and Pride, we'll get to show the world that in Seattle, everyone is welcome. What an incredible honor. Yeah, except for Egypt and Iran, apparently. Oh, these people are so stupid. Oh my gosh, they're just so stupid. I can't even imagine. I saw that and I just cracked up. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free, and once you are signed up and signed in, search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget, before you take off, hit the thumbs up button, the thumbs down button, or in the case of 3 Chevy, the thumbs sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, or Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.